Sundi, welcome to our TGS 2024 preview session. So the whole reason for doing this is to go figure out that we have not only set the right expectation, we have the right expectations set to us for the Bangalore event that is going to happen in a year's time. Okay, so just to introduce Sundi Global Board of Trustees for TiE, and I will let you do the personal introduction yourself, Sundi.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ravi. I'm so excited to learn that TiE Bangalore. In fact, it's the TiE Karnataka that's going to be hosting the next global summit. And to me, this is my 18th year as a charter member, and it's been a gratifying journey as a charter member, and then on the board of TiE DC, and then serving as the president of TiE DC. And the last 2 years on the global board of trustees, it's been a very, very gratifying journey for me. And what is really standing out is and what we've been building on primarily is TiE Global is now 60 chapters strong, and we want to reinforce that every single ecosystem that is there is able to leverage the power of TiE, which is actually the charter members from all the 60 chapters. And over the years, I think the Global Summit has grown from one pillar to another pillar very strongly, right from the last year it was in Hyderabad, now in Singapore, and we want to carry the same energy and momentum into Bangalore. And as you know, Bangalore, to me, there are 2-3 things that really excites me. One is we are at the right time now, especially given India's growth, and especially on the fintech and the whole India stack that is really now getting popular. Right. And we want to leverage on all those great things that have been done, and to let the whole world know that these are the different options, and moving away from what I call as a services economy to an actually product-led economy is really where I want to let the world know and showcase some of these great things that are happening across our chapters, across our charter members, across companies that we funded, across these chapters, and that's really the high level expectation that I want to see.
Great. So you kind of talked about the services economy, right? Bangalore is known as the services capital with Infi, Wipro, and etc., right? And if you take Singapore as an example, because it has been associated with the Singapore FinTech Festival, there's a whole lot of stalls associated with FinTech. You talked about the digital good as a process, right? So one of the themes that we were looking at is, for example, Singapore has what is it for as digital good that you can do. We were talking about being entrepreneurship first, right? But having said that, how do we go back and enable this, number one, from going beyond IT services, products, the whole set, if you look at the SaaS side economy, etc., but also try and give it a non-IT flavor, right? Because in some ways, TiE is all about a wider range of entrepreneurship, especially because we have ISRO in some ways being based in Bangalore. We also have I don't know how many of them know, but we have the Aero show that happens in Bangalore every other year, every alternate year. So how do you see this panning out beyond just being tech and mostly about entrepreneurship first?
Yeah, so that's a very good way of looking at things, right? So if you've seen at how TiE Global has evolved, obviously, we have a 30 years of history, and a lot of things that we did with mentoring and entrepreneurship was very relevant at the time because there are not many players offering that. So fast forward it, thanks to all the great work we have done, we've created so many unicorns and impact across. But in the bigger metros, there is definitely a need to. The right word is to foster entrepreneurship, but the bigger growth is, when you say India, the Bharat, is all happening in tier 2, tier 3. So how can we showcase all the great work that TiE has done in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and more aligned with the hub and spoke model that is now getting really, really good in terms of where TiE Bangalore is adopted, TiE Mysuru, Hubli and other chapters.
Bangalore,
Which is also getting launched. So with all these kinds of things, the focus would be in not just getting the tech part of it, but then tapping into this tier 2, tier 3 ecosystem, and that's really where the next phase of growth, next phase of innovation is going to happen. And tied to this, again, the whole India stack. Because we have the Aadhaar, and then you have the UPI, which is basically making all the payments, all the settlements good. And then on top of it, which nobody wants to talk about, is the ONDC, which is really where the Web3 and how we really make sure the data is segregated. And so with all these combined things, if we can apply tech, but then it could be to an agriculture, it could be to space, it could be to a lot of other things, is really where I think we can have a big impact in doing it. And from a TiE Global's perspective, there is also another huge area where most of these things happen. As entrepreneurs, we do the good things, but then there's always some level of support, some level of intervention, some level of collaboration that's needed with the government, whether it be the local state or whether it be the central government. So if there are ways to showcase how to efficiently, in a very frictionless way, get the policies through, that basically help and foster the kind of things we do. And second, bring in some of the other innovations that are happening across the governments and see how we can showcase some of this innovation ultimately getting into the hands of the government and to the citizens, so there is a much bigger impact.
So it's interesting that you say that, because we were discussing something that was being rolled out within the state government as part of some of the NGO, that they had created this whole stack that came out of the COVID piece, but then it is now getting used not just in education, it's also getting used in animal husbandry kind of stuff, right? And so it comes to my next question, right? We have a lot of these sessions which are GAN sessions, right? We have a celebrity comes, does 1 hour, we talk about this. Is there anything that we can do that you think are deeper? I mean, should we then take a workshop kind of an approach? Do you think take for example, you talked about Aadhaar, right? Now we have MOSIP. I don't know if you know, MOSIP is the open platform of Aadhaar UIDI, and in fact, one of our members, Sanjay Anandram, kind of runs that as an open platform. And it's now, as of last, I know there are 14 countries that are adopting it.
Okay.
In fact, the government of India is sponsoring the adoption of Aadhaar, that platform, for Sri Lanka, and they're running it out as a project, right? So it's kind of funded by the government of India and to be implemented in Sri Lanka. So is there, you think, obviously you talked about ONDC, right? There is also the account aggregator. There is also the OCN, which is the OCN is the equivalent for SME sector, etc. Right? So I know this is a kind of a leading question, but anything that you see that we can change in the format of what is happening, because not just a highlight, celebrity session where we can go in and go any deep dive. What do you think would work?
No, again, a couple of things, right? So, I've probably not missed a single TiE Global Summit in the last maybe 7-8 years. And to me, the value that I see in the various formats that we've experimented and learned and what was really impacting and everything is, on one end of this spectrum, you have all these inspirational speakers coming, doing all those kinds of things. Right. But if you really look into, let's say, the impact that we want to be creating for an entrepreneur, first-time entrepreneur, so there are a few elements that really make it valuable for them. And at least in some of the things that I've seen is, one is to really provide TiE Global as a platform for upcoming entrepreneurs to come in and showcase, because what I've seen is a lot of times discovery is a problem.
Right.
And when you make this discovery in a way where it's in a very trusted environment, a lot of things happen.
Right.
And so we need to give opportunities, and celebrate some of these upcoming, entrepreneurs, and it could be vertical wise, it could be industry wise, but then that should be one thing where we kind of make them,
the hero, the
celebrate.
Yeah.
And the second part is a lot of these people actually now are smart enough because there's a lot of content out there and everything. So they want to walk away with one or two actionable things that they say, you know what, I got this from this TGS in Bangalore, right? So it could be in various forms. One is, and again, I'm sure you'll agree, between the portfolio of companies we've invested in, the biggest problem that most of them face is they grossly underestimate what it takes to sell and market. So are there masterclass sessions that we can take in kind of addressing some of those specific needs? So it could be even as simple as every single entrepreneur, we ask them 3 things that they want to walk away with, and make sure that they walk away with at least one of those items. And one could be done in a very informal masterclass kind of a thing. They register, and I know these are all very specific areas that they come in. We get the right people, and then we actually track and make sure that they walk away with maybe 3 open doors for their go-to-market in SaaS. Or it could be a revenue generation and something. Pricing strategy. It could be specific topic, but then those are valuable things that I've seen. People, even today, they can relate to saying, I got this idea from here, I got this handhold from here, and that led me to a successful customer, a successful sale or something. Some things to think about for sure.
Sure. So from a non-entrepreneurship piece, right? This is also a great way for us to kind of interact, get all people together. We are talking about other pieces. If you had a choice to go and say that, after hours, you're going to have a concert or you want to have some kind of a social piece. I know we do the dinners, we do these. Bangalore, Mysore, the ecosystem. What in your mind would be, wow, that's a wow thing for me. I wish I could. I wish I could get everybody to say, come in there, this is what you'll get to see in Bangalore.
Yeah, no, again, Bangalore, everybody knows Bangalore is a pop city, right? So one of the things that will really resonate with the culture and the name is, set up like an informal, pub hops.
Okay.
Where, you have, very focused, maybe mentor connects or even pitching to investors or, things like that in an informal way.
Right.
And have it in a way where there is more form of networking and interaction, and people walk away with those relationships and they're able to build it. And then I'm a big fan of partying in the net, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurs go through all these ups and downs.
Yeah.
But if you give them an opportunity to actually come back with this whole thing, and I've seen this in Bay Area many times, that they come up with this big gala night, and after that it transforms into a big party kind of a thing. So I think those are some of the options that really will make the experience of an entrepreneur very unique, and forge some of these relationships over and over again, and pursue things later options. Yeah.
Sure. So we'll kind of wind up at that, but maybe we can even get a special brand of beer launched at the TiE TGS next year, right? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, we have investors in the charter members who are part of. Let's say they've invested in Geist or somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a brand launched.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Sundi. That was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.